Hello and welcome on in to our very first video in our newest series. Welcome in to the February episode, the March episode, April episode, to the May episode, June episode, July episode, August episode, September episode, October episode, November episode, December episode of Strategy Game News. Hello and welcome on into the final episode of Strategy Game News 2025. We are hitting that part of the year where I don't really know what day it is, so we're just going to assume that this is going up in 2025. But what better time is there to take a retrospective look at the games that made 2025 awesome? We're going to award some standout strategy games that came out in 2025. The rules for the Strategy Game News Awards are that it had to come out in 2025, it has to be in 1.0, except for one game because I just had to give it the award, and of course little to no generative AI. As per usual, these opinions are beholden to no one and are just my opinions. They're fully intended to just be a bit of fun and to recognize the hard work of studios and developers throughout the year. Also keep in mind I can only play so many games in a year despite this literally being my job. And first up, we're going to dive into one of my all-time favorite categories, management sims. A lot of fun management sims this year with a lot of big names putting in some extra entries, but there was one game that grabbed me and didn't let go. Congratulations, News Tower from Twin Sails Interactive and Sparrow 9. Take on the 1930s as a newspaper mogul in News Tower, which hit 1.0 on November 19th. You will need to plan out your offices, hire and train your staff, and design your newspapers in the most economical way possible. News Tower was in early access for 2 years, seeing some massive updates and player feedback incorporation during that time, with a current Steam score of very positive. With a strong artistic art style, banging soundtrack, and addictive gameplay that has been consistently tended to and updated based on player feedback, News Tower was a shoo-in for this Management Sim award. There's a free demo of this one so you can try your hand at running your newspaper empire right now. I don't know what it was about News Tower, I just love everything about it. You guys know that I love good soundtrack and sound design, and News Tower has that in spades. I love highly stylized takes on games. Anything that is unique art style wise and just has a really strong idea of what it wants to be, I'm there for it. News Tower has an idea and just carries it through to completion, and we've seen so many updates come out this year, including the massive 1.0 update, that it's clear this game is being made with such passion and dedication that I had to recognize it. If you haven't checked out News Tower, I would highly recommend going over to at least the Steam page and watching some gameplay trailers, or I've got I don't think I have any videos on it. Otherwise, I may be streaming it in 2026, so feel free to pop by my Twitch channel and have a look and see if I'm streaming it. And it's time to open up the next award, which is the Best Deck Builder of 2025, and how could I give it to any other game than Drop Duchy from Sleepy Mill Studio and Arcade Crew. Medieval deck builder Tetris? Say less. Drop Duchy is an addictively stunning puzzle game that'll have you coming back again and again, trying new decks, new biomes, new fights, and new tactics each time. Along with a robust initial launch, Drop Duchy has been frequently updated, with 2 new DLCs dropped in the same year it released. And while this sounds like an extreme schedule, the content was worth it. A huge shout out here to the soundtrack and sound design. While initially this premise could have been done badly, here we see it done well. Drop Duchy actually inspired my first full video review since 2023, which should tell you how impressed I was with it. In my eyes, no other game could have won this award, and I'm super excited to get into another round of it very soon. Drop Duchy came up in my research for one of the Strategy Game News episodes. It may have been March or April, and I played that demo to death. It took over my life. It is so satisfying. Again, the same thing with News Tower. It's got that really strong idea of what it wants to be. It's unique. It's got a gorgeous art style, a fantastic soundtrack, and it's not trying to be anything else, and I really appreciate that. It's so addictive. I'm also so impressed with the cadence of updates and releases and DLC, and considering that it just came out immediately into 1.0, I think that's really rare. I think a lot of games come out into early access first these days. 90% of games come out into early access these days, so to have a game hit 1.0 right off the bat is really cool actually, and it definitely feels like a 1.0 game. There is a ton of content, a ton of replayability. It's a great game. It's certainly deserving of the award in my opinion. City builders. Possibly my favorite genre of all time. I started playing city builders when I was around 7 years old and was only closely followed by RTS games. So I have a real soft spot when it comes to city builders, and I'm also incredibly picky. That being said, 2025 was a really tough year to pick a standout city builder. It had to be done. Congratulations, Farthest Frontier from Crate Entertainment. Farthest Frontier is a classic city builder and sees the player establish an evolving town on, you guessed it, the frontier. With the usual city builder basics of resource management and layout design, Farthest Frontier added an edge to the staples by introducing combat. Farthest Frontier entered 1.0 in October with a huge new update that changed a lot of the game mechanics and refreshed the gameplay loop for a lot of veteran players. I love this game for its gorgeous art style and soundtrack, as well as brutal doom cycles and on-the-spot building upgrades that allow me to see my town change and evolve due to my hard work and its prosperity. A classic city builder for the Best City Builder of 2025 award. What more could we ask for? I started playing Farthest Frontier when it was just starting its early access journey back in 2023 or 2022 even maybe. It's the only game that I've ever done any episodes of a Let's Play series on, and they are genuinely some of my favorite videos I've ever made. Farthest Frontier is stunning. You guys know I love realistic art styles. That's why I love Manor Lords so much. And it's got such a beautiful, crisp color palette. It's so challenging and in depth. The soundtrack is great. I love the upgrading the buildings on the spot. I love that they build things themselves. I love that it's really hard. There's not much I don't love about Farthest Frontier, and that's why I had to give it the City Builder of 2025 award. It went into 1.0 in November and went through like a massive update of its mechanics and gameplay loop. If you checked it out when it was in early access, it's a completely different game now with a lot more content. It's a good way to spend some time, and it really doesn't hold your hand. Trying to get your food stores and your food stocks stocked is tricky, but it does feel so good when you finally get your gameplay loop down pat and you can start expanding elsewhere. It's time to break the rules. I mentioned there was going to be a teeny tiny rule break in the intro of this video, but I make them so I can break them. We're going to be handing out the award for the best roguelike of 2025, and it had to go to a game that, yes, I did help publish, but I've been playing this game for years now. It finally came out in early access last year. This is the only early access game on this list, but I couldn't not. If you're going to play any roguelike this year, it needs to be this one. It's Super Fantasy Kingdom from Hooded Horse and Super Fantasy Games. From Super Fantasy Games and Hooded Horse comes the pixel art roguelike auto battler Super Fantasy Kingdom. Yes, it's still in early access and I'm breaking my rule, but this game deserves the rules to be broken. With a strong core gameplay loop and a true roguelike style, I can already hear you typing argumentative comments, and if we open the can of worms of what is or isn't a roguelike, we'll be here all day, so let's just roll with it for funsies. Super Fantasy Kingdom invites the player to explore and experiment with different heroes, build orders, and strategies as you take on the nightly monsters in a grasping effort to unlock just one more perk for your next run. A game that scales with you, it has a short learning curve and a strong replayability metric. Super Fantasy Kingdom is one to watch. And no, I won't award it again when it does come out in 1.0. Probably. So I think it was around 2023 I started doing my first look at videos, which are basically just edited playthroughs of me experiencing a game for the first time, and my Super Fantasy Kingdom video remains one of my all-time favorites. It is bright and colourful and exciting, and it is different every single time you play. That being said, it also really rewards people who don't have a lot of time to sink into a game. It's easy to learn and it rewards starting over from the beginning. And I just think it's really interesting to have a game that respects your time like that these days. You can just exit it at any point and it remembers where you're up to. Starting new runs will always start you over with the meta progression you've unlocked in your previous ones, so extra roads, building spots, resources, villages, horses. And then on top of that, they went and made a whole second kingdom. So you can play as the human medieval kingdom, and then you can play as the undead kingdom, which has a totally whole new skew of mechanics and resources and build options and build orders. It's a great little game. It's an auto battler, roguelike, pixel art, I guess is how I would describe it. This is probably one of my favorite games that I've played in the last 5 years. Totally unbiased. I would have given it the award anyway. Coming into a lesser played genre now, I'll let the comments kick off. Tower Defense. It's an all-time favorite of mine once I figured out I wasn't supposed to win in the endless modes. And there was one Tower Defense game this year that grabbed me and just held me. And unfortunately it was infectious, so I'd like to not apologize for all the people I got invested in this game. That's right, it's Nordhold. Released at the end of March, this super simple, super fun tower defense game harkens back to all of the elements that make this genre a beloved one. You'll need to manage the scarce resources of your town and make strategic decisions about where you want those resources to land the next day as you work through strategic and defensive phases. Shuffling your workers around to ensure a big enough delivery of resources so that you can unlock a building or tech as soon as possible is absolutely crucial. Enemies are varied and require different approaches to defense to defeat them. Your defensive capabilities range from arrow towers to volcano mortars, arc towers, and more. As enemies progress along procedurally generated pathways towards your village, you can only sit and watch as your previously built defenses tackle the oncoming onslaught. The game developer Stunforge joined forces with publisher Hype Train Digital this year, and the updates started rolling. Nordhold rewards the player for trying different builds through a unique reward system of banners that stack on banners and then merge into a mega banner. A big old shout out to the dev who came and sat in my Twitch stream of this game and gave me some pointers that led to some very cool combos and discoveries. Nordhold is a fantastic example of indie games, of what this genre can be, and I highly recommend you go and check out this tower defense of 2025. Nordhold is just a good time. It's just a game that's made for you to have fun and try crazy combos, and it's just fun. Again, obviously made with a lot of passion and dedication. That's what these awards were created to reward, and Nordhold is just a really good time. To be honest, I think it's an exemplary example of what indie gaming should be. Someone had an idea, a really fun idea, and obviously had the skills to make it, and the resulting game is so addictive. Between Nordhold and Drop Duchy in 2025, I lost hours of productivity, and this is actually my job, is to play these games, and I still feel like I lost a lot of time. Okay, we're coming up to the end of the awards, but they're still interesting, I promise. The next one I think is one that I am uniquely positioned to award. So a lot of what I do with strategy game news to write the scripts in the episodes is I play demos. I play a lot of demos. The more content a demo has, the better article I can write about it and try and predict what features we're going to get and what the core gameplay loop is going to be like and how much content there's going to be in the game. So at this point, I think I'm pretty qualified to recognize what makes a good demo. Our next award is the Best Demo of 2025, according to SGN. And for those who have spent any time in a voice chat with me this year or in my Twitch streams, this one's going to come as no surprise. The Best Demo of 2025, it has to go to Moon Sigil Atlas from Snake Tower Games. Another Tetris-like puzzle builder, Moon Sigil grabbed me and wouldn't let go. I have a ridiculous amount of hours in this demo, and it's because it feels complete. You can play all the way to and beyond now thanks to a huge update, a massive boss battle that will test all you have learned and not let you get away easily. Choose a player, build your deck, defeat constellations, and defend the moon while making choices that'll define your run. The story, theme, and sound design again are the standouts. This demo is still up. All I can do is recommend you go download it and wishlist the main game, which does currently have a release date of Q1 2026. This demo consumed me for an entire Saturday, and suffice to say, I think I'm pretty screwed when the full game comes out. Moon Sigil Atlas wins the Strategy Game News Awards for Best Demo of 2025, and my hearty congratulations go to the team behind it. Moon Sigil Atlas landed at the exact right time for me. I had just finished up my latest run of Drop Duchy and Puzzle Towns, so I was fully invested in the puzzle, Tetris, roguelike genre. I was ensconced within it. And then Moon Sigil Atlas landed in my inbox, the devs reached out to me, and they're wonderful, by the way, just an absolute joy to talk to. And they were like, hey, we saw that you played these games, we thought that you would like Moon Sigil Atlas. I started up the demo and I played for 8 hours straight. Just to give you kind of any indication, so a lot of you have me on Steam, so if you see me with anything I'd say over 3 or 4 hours in a game, it's good stuff. I think there's only a handful of games that I have triple digits in because I have to flit around so many titles to try them out and do the content creation thing. So the Moon Sigil Atlas demo, I think for my current playtime, is sitting at around 12 hours because I love it. Really addictive gameplay. It doesn't hold your hand. It is brutal, but that just means when you get the win, it's just all the sweeter, and it's so much fun. And again, I've yapped about it a lot during this video, but it's the passion and the dedication and just obviously someone making a game for fun. There's no ulterior motive, they're just making a game for people to have fun, and I just think that's what gaming should be. The Moon Sigil Atlas demo is still live, so I'd highly recommend going and playing it yourself. Okay, so that brings me to the end of the official awards, and some of you might notice that I didn't hand out an RTS award. Frankly, I don't feel like I played enough of them this year to make a definitive call, so I'll leave that one up to you guys. So let me know down in the comments below who your choice for the RTS award of 2025 would be. Remember, it needs to be in 1.0 and it needs to have released in 2025. Those are your only guidelines. I lied, I broke the rules with another award. There's just a special shout out that I want to give to a game that completely took my fancy this year in a way that I didn't expect. It actually overtook my Helldivers 2 hours, which is insane. Medieval Dynasty is the spiritual successor to Banished that we never knew we had. And while it looks extremely different from the classic city builder, please note that I said spiritual. Build a town, assign and look after your townsfolk, watch them thrive, have families, they have their own personalities. A big reason behind this shout out as well is, again, as I've mentioned, the obvious love and passion the devs have for this game, and call me crazy, but I think we should relish in that. I wrote a huge review for Medieval Dynasty over on Steam, so I'll link that down in the description below. Feel free to take a look at it, or bonus points if you dive into the game yourself, and extra bonus points if you dive in with a bunch of your friends, because yes, it is co-op. You can co-op build a medieval village with your friends, and it's so good. And that's 2025, assuming this video goes up in time. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who supported the series, bought t-shirts, become members, subscribed, liked, commented, played the games. It's been awesome. It's been super fun. And if this is your first exposure to SGN, talk about starting at the end of the book. No, I'm joking. But feel free to go back and watch the previous episodes from 2025 to see if there's any gems that you missed coming out last year, or any that you want to put on your watch list or your wish list to see what becomes of them in 2026. Let me know down in the comments who your contenders were for these awards, and I'll see you in the next video.